What's up, everybody? Jed Johnson here from DieselCrew.com. Of course, you know they call me Napalm. We're up to video number 27, brother. 27 in the 31 days of Q&A. The month is almost over. I still got room for a few good questions, so leave them in the comments section below. Got a couple good ones this morning and a couple that, man, I've already covered them, man. If you got a question about the importance of hand size, then you need to search my channel because I've covered that ad nauseum here on the channel. Yes, hand size is huge, but I'm not going to go into detail on that. Instead, got a question from the big man, Jason Dingy. He says, question about training intensity. Is there a difference in intensity when doing, say, a 3 rep max at 90% versus a 1 rep max at 100%? It's often said one doesn't want to continually train with 1 rep max weight. If you do more reps with lighter weight, but to failure, seems like it's the same thing from an intensity point of view. What are your thoughts? All right, so important to understand that in the strength and conditioning field, and a lot of people may not know this, but it's kind of like any kind of jargon associated with a specific field. The word intensity relates to the percentage of weight you're doing related to your 1 rep max. So a true 1 rep max, the absolute most you could do, and if you threw an ounce on the bar and you would not be able to do it, that weight that you can complete is your 1 rep max, and it's 100% intensity. So any factor below that has its own intensity percentage. So intensity is the percentage of the 1 rep max. So let's use 100 pounds. 100% intensity of 100 pounds is 100. 90% intensity of 100 pounds is 90. Okay, so that's how intensity works. That's how you would correctly use that word, speaking as, say, a strength conditioning coach to another strength and conditioning coach. However, if you've watched, for instance, my friend Big J, Jason English, at Big J's Extreme Fitness, he'll talk about intensity as how hard you're going after it, the demand that you're putting on your body, how intensely you're training. Okay, so getting in there and not messing around, you're going at it as hard as you can all the time. That is what most people would think of as intensity, but in the strength conditioning field, we don't think of it that way. We would think of that as more of how demanding that given load is, or how much effort you're putting into the training. We just wouldn't use the word intensity. Okay, so that we get that out of the way. So if you see like a top name like Matt Wenning, Jim Wendler, Dave Tate, when they start using the word intensity, they're probably going to be using that word to reflect a percentage of the athlete's 1 rep max on that lift. Okay? Now, Jason goes into some other detail. He says, it's often said one doesn't want to continually train with 1 rep max weight. Okay, so most likely everybody's going to want to switch it up every so often. Continually testing your 1 rep max or continually doing singles in your workout is only going to get you so far. You're also going to have to mix it up a little bit and do doubles. You're going to have to do triples, maybe 5s, and depending on what type of training you're doing, you might even do like an 8 rep max, a 10 rep max, a 12 rep max, things like that. So when you're getting into bodybuilding, you'll do those higher rep sets. When you're in strength training, you want lower rep sets. So generally in strength training, your intensity is higher. Doesn't mean you're training harder, doesn't mean you're going after it and sweating giant puddles in there. It just means that the load that you're using on the bar is higher. And that means you can't get as many reps, okay? So that's how you want to think about it. Now, when you're done, let's say you do 3 reps, let's say you do 3 sets of 1. And maybe it's not your all-out max, but it's your 1 rep max for that day. Okay, it's a very, very high percentage of your 1 rep max weight, and we would say that's very high intensity. By the time you're done with those 3 sets, you're probably pretty wiped, and you probably can't do any more sets with that weight. It's the same thing with 90%. So let's say you're doing 90% and you can get that for 3 times, and you do that for 3 sets. Well, if you were to try that for a 4th set, you might not get all 3 reps. Okay, so by the end of that 3 sets of 90% intensity, then you're going to feel totally wiped out again. So you'd have to switch to another exercise in order to get good quality work in, or you'd have to reduce the weight. Doesn't matter what weight you're doing or what intensity. At the end of 3 sets, a lot of times you're done being able to perform quality repetitions at that intensity. So looking at it another way, if you do singles all the time, chances are you're not going to continue to see progress in your 1 rep max. Everybody's different. You might be able to do that for 2 weeks. You might be able to do that for 8 weeks and then retest and you'll get a PR. But if you do that again, maybe you won't PR the next time. So it's better to switch it up, okay? So without getting into too much detail about loading, programming, etc., I just want to take that moment to kind of straighten out the term intensity as we would use it in the strength conditioning field. And then, yes, you would want to mix up your intensities in order to continue to progress all the time. And there's other ways that you can do it to mix things up. And you can use different exercises. You don't have to do reps. You can do other things. But if you guys are interested in more detail on this, you should check out my coaching program. I got a link in the description box. We do a mix of all this stuff in my coaching program. Jason can tell you about my coaching program because I worked with him for about 2 years, and he's one of the best guys in the United States in grip sport. So aside from that, I've got the link to thegripauthority.com. Got another lifter joined, so we're up to 4 for this month. So thank you very much. And again, the complete playlist link is in the description box below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Big one of these. Give it to me, buddy. And any other questions in the comments section, check out the description box. Be sure to subscribe, get notifications by clicking the bell. All the best in your training. Take care.